Well, developing tonight, much of Capitol Hill is still in shock after the death of 71-year-old South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. His family said he passed after a brief and sudden illness. His absence will leave a major hole in Washington. Fox News chief congressional correspondent Chad Pergram has more on this story.
Lindsey Graham's death rattled Capitol Hill. Although official Washington woke to the unexpected news, bipartisan colleagues remembered Graham's humor. In fact, several said it was Graham's wit which made him effective, even during epic political and policy battles.
Lindsey had a way to be able to engage people, to charm them. You know, even after maybe calling somebody a homicidal maniac, he was able to go back and develop a relationship by just being funny. He was direct. And frankly, I think that's one of the things that a lot of foreign leaders appreciated about him, is that he would be direct with them.
Republican South Carolina Representative Russell Fry is one name mentioned as a possible successor to Graham. Fry echoed Ricketts, but Fry noted that it was the tenacity of Graham which saved the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in the fall of 2018. Christine Blasey Ford accused Kavanaugh of sexual assault.
If you enjoy having your sides hurt from laughing, that was Lindsey Graham to a T. He always had a joke. One of the most authentically funny people that you'll meet. I mean, this is the man who resurrected the career of Kavanaugh and put him on the Supreme Court.
Fry is one name mentioned as a possible Graham successor. GOP South Carolina Representative Joe Wilson says he will stay in the House protecting the slim Republican majority there. And there is Nancy Mace.
I actually texted the governor this morning and I suggested he should nominate himself to be that interim person, someone who can be divested, who can hold the lane for Lindsey Graham for the next 6 months. There will be a very short primary, about 3 or 4 weeks, quite frankly. Special election, probably looking like August 11th.
A caretaker senator could serve through the end of Graham's term in early January. Graham entered the House as part of the historic freshman class of 1994. The GOP won the House for the first time in 40 years. That so-called Republican Revolution is nearly over. The only member of that class who remains in Congress now is Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Roger Wicker. In Washington, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Now, in a statement on Facebook, Virginia Representative Jen Kiggins said, quote, "My condolences are with Senator Lindsey Graham's family, friends, staff, and the people of South Carolina." She continues by saying, "We are all shocked at the news of his passing, but are grateful for his years of service in the U.S. Air Force, the Air National Guard, and in Congress for 32 years. May he rest in peace." Now, Senator Mark Warner also responding on a post via X. He said, quote, "I was heartbroken to learn of the sudden passing of my friend and colleague, Senator Lindsey Graham. Lindsey and I disagreed on plenty over the years, but I never doubted his love for this country or his commitment to serving it." He also says, "Lisa and I are keeping Lindsey's family, his devoted staff, the people of South Carolina, and everyone who loved him in our thoughts and prayers during this incredibly difficult time."